Philip, it must be over 2 years that I was walking down your driveway. I was trying to get permission to put a trap in the trap line here to protect the Pateki that we'd released. And you were down by your garage and there was a large triangular object, which to me looked like a gigantic paper dart. And I just said, oh, that'll never fly.
Yeah, I do remember, and I explained. It travels about 80 kilometres an hour at an average speed and travels about 100 kilometres. As soon as I said that, I saw your brain starting to tick over. So it was pretty much a match made in heaven, really.
Absolutely, or at least in West Auckland. Pateki at one stage were the rarest duck in the world. Back in the 1960s or 70s, as few as 600 were left. A whole lot of groups were able to start introducing them into predator-controlled spaces. Tracking of animals, the most important thing we want to know is position.
So when John started to tell us about the problems he had with tracking, which was essentially that you're in a very obstacle-rich environment, so things are in the way of when you're trying to use an antenna to track a signal.
Wind, vegetation, bounce back from ridges made it difficult to get an idea of the exact position of these birds.
Pretty much together we realised that if we could get an aircraft up above all of those trees and mountains, we could get a much better way of locating that signal.
And we ended up with an octocopter. He called it, well, that was his term,
the Duckatron. And it could do what John initially had asked for.
The Duckatron used a standard receiving aerial, and this was attached to the UAV. It's bulky and...
Really, the range and endurance of the aircraft was very limited.
Radio tracking traditionally uses low-frequency sound. You have to go to about 3 different sites and try and triangulate, and then that gives you a position, hoping that the bird hasn't moved much in that time.
Once we realised we can get in the air and do this, really the need for that low frequency is greatly lowered. And what that means is that we can start operating in higher frequencies.
And with the technology of a transmitter, far more information could be given. So instantly you could get GPS position, for example, not have to triangulate as with the old technology.
Higher frequencies means smaller antennas. Smaller antennas means the ability to fit this into a far smaller aircraft.
The new technology had to be cheap, it had to be light, it had to be easily usable by anyone in the field and pick up more information than is currently possible.
So the unit that we have developed is a multi-tiered sensor unit. It has GPS location and historical GPS location. On top of that, it has 3-axis accelerometer data, which means the position or the movements of the creature, and it has a history of that data. On top of that, the UAV or the drone, what it does is it is an on-call satellite, and that system can fly within 10 kilometres of wherever the location of the target is and actually upload all of that data in real time back to the people who are looking for information. We'd invented something that not only solved the local problem, but had truly international applications. So from what became as a very small thing, has suddenly taken on a life of its own. The more information that we have about the creatures of this world and their environment that they operate in, the quicker we can find solutions to their problems in a changing world. What are the chances that you would turn up in a rural situation down a drive that's a couple of 100 metres long in the middle of the bush and we'd meet up? I always find that quite remarkable, really.
Truth to tell, I went in about 5 driveways like that, but no one else had a drone.